a bracer of a land who no longer harbours the guild, and known as the Zero Artisan for his adept use of arts. Today we'll be looking at the story of the B rank bracer, Toval Randoner. Toval's life might be full of meaning and purpose now, but it wasn't always like this. In his adolescence, he was what many would consider an outcast, someone with no friends, no family, and no one who cared for his existence. That is, until by chance in Heimdall, he happened upon an information broker known as Micht, who gave him various jobs as an intermediary. At this time, the 100 Days' War still remained fresh in the memories of Liburlians and Erebonians, and relations between the two were filled with animosity. Thus imports of goods were virtually impossible. Through the intended channels at least. Taking on various names to cover his true identity, and a cover story should he be questioned, Toval was given a package to deliver to the Kingdom of Liburl, which would see him make his way to the border city of Palm before taking an airship direct to Grand Cell. It seemed like any other day for the young man, as he sat down in his first-class seat watching the world fly by, until he heard the sound of a woman coming from the compartment door. "Will you be travelling to the Liburl Kingdom, sir?" And thus, Toval's fate was sealed. The item he was carrying was actually an artifact that still operated even decades later, and an aristocrat had hired a Jaeger Corps to kill him and take the item before it reached Grand Cell. The sister, known as Carnelia, had a mission to prevent this from happening, and get the item to Heimdall Cathedral under the jurisdiction of the church. After avoiding various brushes with death in the sewers beneath the city, the duo finally arrived in a swath of light in the central plaza of Heimdall, directly on the steps of the cathedral. It seemed the artifact that the two were meant to protect actually reversed the roles, and protected them instead from their Jaeger assailants, transporting them to safety. Handing the item over to the Cardinal, Sister Carnelia was taken into the church for treatment, while Toval was to be taken to a resort in Calvard where he would recuperate. Before he left, however, he wanted to meet Carnelia once more, to thank her for her protection, and also to thank her for giving him a new path of life. During their short adventure, Carnelia had made it clear that she believed Toval's abilities to think quickly, his combat skills and adaptation were best suited to the Bracer Guild, which Toval joined a year later in 1200 of the Septium calendar. On the day that they parted, Carnelia decided to disclose her true name to Toval. From this point, he would never forget his second goddess, the one who gave him meaning, and the one who he would forever know as his saviour, Ein Selmet. Toval's work as an Erebonian bracer, however, meets a sticky situation come 2 years down the line. To ensure the success of the Gospel plan, Ouroboros sought to lure Cassius Bright out of Liburl by attacking the Erebonian guild branches with the Jester Jaeger Corps. With the threat to national security, once the incident was quelled, the Imperial government pressured the Bracer Guilds all over Erebonia to shut down. His colleagues moved on to either become teachers or moved state entirely, while Toval's line of work would now take him between the likes of Legram, where a guild still remained, and the eastern town of Ulster. It's during these travels that he meets a young bracer duo from Liburl, who appear to be travelling along western Zemuria looking for someone. Taking the bracers, Joshua and Estelle, to the Ulster branch, he gets a call at the reception from an unknown source. Unknown at least to the two young bracers. As they dig deeper into the Jaeger attacks surrounding the area, they discover that the true cause is down to an artifact known as the Ring of Judgment, a ring that forces its wearer to relive their deepest sins, ultimately breaking their psyche. Eventually finding the mayor's grandson, Kai, in a room with the ring in hand, the three bracers successfully manage to remove the artifact from Kai's finger. As if predicting their success, a sister from the church greets them on the outskirts of the ruins. From here, it all becomes clear. The call back at the Ulster Guild branch was from Ein Selnet, and she had asked Toval to look into the happenings surrounding the Jester Jaeger Corps. In return, she would give information as to the whereabouts of a certain Ren Hayworth. As promised, the ring is given to the church, and in return, Ein discloses that Ren is currently in Crossbell, giving Estelle and Joshua their next destination and renewed hope. With their mission complete, after a short catch-up with Ein, Toval makes his way back to Legram. Toval's work as a bracer continues into the Cold Steel arc, assisting Class 7 on many occasions and gathering intelligence aboard the Courageous, which he relays on a frequent basis with his fellow bracer Sarah Vallerstein. His friendly demeanour and reliable nature are not the only reasons why many influential characters in the world of Trails rely on him, as he represents one of the strongest arts users in the guild, and not to mention being the chosen one of a certain head of the Growlsritter Dominion. What Toval will be doing in future arcs across Lemuria we can only hazard a guess, but what we can be certain of is that whatever he does will in some way be related to the benefit of his goddess.